Karate training and conditioning, requirements for children versus adults. It is topic of this presentation. This is a part 3 of 4-part series presented from the coach's point of view. This video is produced by the Providence Business Group, LLC. The ultimate aim of karate training is automatization of techniques. Automatization means permanence of technique. Now, automatization of very few and selected techniques should be the training objective of world-class athlete. When technique is executed up to 1 million times, it will reach a level of automatization, the outcome of which is either permanence or perfection of technique. At this level, technique becomes smooth flowing. Use of equipment during the training is mandatory. Speed and explosive power reach the level of functional optimum. Cardiorespiratory and muscular system are performing again at the optimum. And automatization is the highest level of training and conditioning. The origin of karate is connected to the two schools of the Chinese martial art. Internal school, which is of Chinese origin, and external school, which is known as a foreign origin school. It is connected to the Indian monk Dharma and his arrival in China. Dharma in his practice used only 18 techniques. Practice for him was his profession. Together with the prayer, he practiced 24/7, and for him that was a way of life. Consider vis-a-vis that modern sports karate. Modern sports karate has 136 techniques, including block, punch, strikes, kicks, etc. And serious karate athletes practice 3 to 8 times per week these 136 techniques. Questions become, when can athlete reach level automatization of all 136 techniques? The simple answer to this is never. So, in the process of training, few things we can keep in mind. 1. Success in karate training is based not on what we do, but rather how we do it. Number 2. Practice will make permanent, but not necessarily perfect. Now, in order to make it perfect, number 3, correct mistakes immediately. And number 4, perfect practice will make perfect skills. So, what we do in training, when we train, we reteach muscle how to do things in new way. From the brain, signal come, and muscles are in a way instructed how to perform techniques. So repetition of technique is the only workload for learning. In this process, in central nerve system, in the brain, we are learning, but signals are going out in the periphery, the muscle. So in periphery, we have adaptation, and that adaptation can go in one of two ways. Can go in permanence or can go in perfection. Now, in planning training for children, and that is topic of today's presentation, children vis-a-vis adults, the following differences between children and adults on a cognitive, this means training level, should be taken into consideration. First of all, we should realize that children do things because they want to have fun. But also they do things because they want to improve their skill. That's a little bit different from adults. Adults are doing something because they want to win, they want to be fit, they want to compete, they want to be a champion. They're doing things for a glory. Now, interesting study was done in 1990 on 10,000 boys and girls aged 10 to 18 in 6 major urban cities. Why do children and young adults, why do they do things what they do? The 10 most important reasons why they are playing sport in school: number 1 is to have fun, number 2 to improve skill, and number 3, etc. Number 4 is interesting, to do something that I'm good at. But number 10, a really least important reason why they do things is to win. So victory for children, although important, it is not number 1. Number 1 is to have fun. Now, if we look this opposite of why did young children, young adults, why do they stop doing what they are doing? From the same study by Martha Ewing from the Michigan State University, they are stopping because they lost an interest. Well, that's a very good reason. Number 2, I was not having fun. Now, that's probably why they lost interest, because they didn't have fun. Number 4 is really important for karate instructor. Coach was poor teacher. It is really mean that in karate we need to teach effectively, we need to teach right to the point what is necessary for children. They do things because they have fun. So training should be constructed in that way. And the least important reason for them, number 10, was that winning was overemphasized. That is also something to consider. So, if we believe that research from 1990 is an old research, outdated, and does not speak properly of children's desire to play, we only should consider what children did 4,000 years ago in Egypt. What they did, they played. About 4,000 years ago, that's exactly what they do. They very often play games, ropeless form of tug wars, and children in Egypt, boys usually like to play games, hockey-like things, a little bit competitive, while girls preferred games which are a little bit less competitive. Now, in old Egypt, balls were made out of leather skin, filled with dry papyrus, and tied together with a string or rope. A little bit different from today, but games were, although not identical, they were similar in nature. They did things to have fun. They also played marbles. They had the white and black marbles made out of stone, and this was also part of the game of the children in Egypt 4,000 years ago, maybe even more than that. Now, let's look at children for a few moments. In case of children, training, we said, should be fun, should be effective, learning, but should be fun. To be fun, training should be combined with the age-specific conditioning. For children, conditioning is a pleasurable, fun experience. We should keep that in mind. So what are the things which are, as far as conditioning is concerned, unique to the children, and we should bring that into the training? First is flexibility. Now, flexibility will give new dimension to techniques. Kids love to kick very high. That technique looks beautiful in that way, and that's what they enjoy. So the flexibility peak at around age of 10. At that point, muscles are longer, but they really grow faster than than the bones. So one more reason for children to be flexible. Now, ligaments provide greater range of motion, and if this flexibility is not supported with the practice in the years to come, flexibility will drop and really begin to drop already at the age of 20. This means if we want to be flexible at the age of 40, we should continue to do flexibility exercise. Now, another thing which is unique to children, and again that they are good into it and they have that as a pleasurable, fun experience, is a vertical coordination. They love to jump. Vertical coordination peak at age 15. That means that peak only to about 70% of the real potential. And that is a zone of training influence. This means from 70 up to 100 you can develop that particular conditioning quality. So if someone can jump really well without any training, we need to think that's only 70% of real maximum. And if that person is a push, can develop even skill to the higher level. Vertical coordination followed flexibility, and here action that is involved is skeletal muscle. Now cerebellum, very important in this, and statoacoustic nerve, because in this jumping there is a lot of rotation, and if cerebellum is not functioning or statoacoustic nerve properly, that can be a little challenge for the children. We need to correct major mistakes in training as soon as possible, or outcome of that particular training can be only permanence. Final outcome training should be not permanence, but should be perfection of technique. That's one of the objectives in training. And the other objective, we should make training a fun experience with the proper use of conditioning. We should stay with the karate program, but we should introduce new innovative processes of learning that children will like and enjoy. And how should we structure training? In about 60 minutes of training, it's usual, the most frequent way that we do. Following things can be taken as a general guideline. Warm-up, about 10 minutes. This should be conditioning. No karate techniques should be implemented during the warm-up exercise. Post-warm-up, about 15 minutes. Again, general conditioning. And just like in warm-up, no karate technique. Here, we can introduce flexibility, and obviously, as we need, and we can do a lot of vertical coordination, jumping, running, and moving around. Now, next stage, third stage, is a period of progressive intensity, and that's really heart and core of training. Lasts for about 25 minutes, and here we do include karate techniques. Techniques are done individually, they are done with the opponent, and we use appropriate equipment to both develop and to control techniques. Now, warm down, about 10 minutes, again general conditioning, no karate techniques. Obviously we can use here flexibility as well. Recovery takes place outside of dojo, and depend time, how much is required to fully recover, depends on intensity of training. Now, that is as far as children are concerned. So let's look now how training with adults look like. When we plan that training, we should really look differences on cognitive level, on training level, between children and now with adults. As we mentioned before, adults, they love to win, they love to be fit, they love to compete, and they love to be champions. And if they can be world champions, they will be even happier. In case of adults, that means that training should be a journey on the road to success. To succeed, training should be combined with the here and again, age-specific conditioning. So conditioning is always another parameter in developing skill. For adult, conditioning should be challenging experience. It's different than children. Over there is a fun, here is a challenge. Now, we only pick up 2 out of more conditioning parameter, and one is the speed. Speed, again, will give new dimension to a technique, and techniques can be faster, brought to the opponent, but at the same time, with the fast techniques, we can defend ourselves. So speed peak at the age of about 23, and will depend on the action of central and peripheral nerve system. It will be better when coordination is improved. So when technique lose all these extra things, technique become faster. And speed depends on genetics, definitely, and on distribution of muscle fibers, which are favorable for the speed, that's the fast twitch fibers. Following speed is explosive power, and explosive power is very close to the speed, peak at age of 24. Just like with the children, again, if someone have outstanding explosive power, naturally, that is only about 70% of trainability. This meaning training, we always assume, regardless how fast or how strong or how flexible athlete is, we always assume that we can push that limit for another 30%. So explosive power is the most dominant part of sports karate. In order to develop explosive power, equipment with a different type of resistance should be used, and technique will be executed as faster as possible. If we look now how this 60 minutes training in general sense with adults should look like, it is a bit different than with the children. Warm-up is just like with the children. 10 minutes of general conditioning, again, no training techniques. But post-warm-up, 15 minutes, it's already different than with the children. Here, we begin to use the karate techniques. And techniques are executed individually, by self. Athlete is practicing biomechanics, repeating and improving. Now, period of progressive intensity, 25 minutes of, again, similar that time-wise, similar to the children. Here, we use equipment and you use work with a partner, with opponent, whatever language we want to use. Last 10 minutes of training is a warm-down. Just like with the children, no karate techniques. But here, different from the children, we can use this part to push and improve flexibility, because body is, the temperature of body is high, muscles are warm, and we can now try to reach a maximum range of motion. So what can we say in a summary of this presentation? Athlete age of 5 to 18 or 4 to 18 depend. We can look then vis-a-vis athlete age of 19 to 40, 45 or even older. Young athlete, 5 to 18 years of age, they will like exercise where flexibility and vertical coordination, jumping are dominant part of training. They will be good at it, and there is a strong possibility that they will stay with the program. So flexibility and vertical coordination, as we stated before, are favorable conditioning quality parameter for the children. Those which are older, 19 and 45 and older, they will not like exercise where flexibility and vertical coordination is dominant part. To have that as a part is okay. We are talking about dominant part. They will not be good in that, and because of that there is a strong possibility that they will leave the program. Now, when we look speed and explosive power, what we will find with athletes age 5 to 18, that they will not like that type of exercise where speed and explosive power is a dominant part of training. They will not be good at that, and because of that, and they will obviously not enjoy, and because of that, there is a very strong chance that they will leave the program. Now, athlete age of 19 to 45, they will very much like training where speed and explosive power are dominant part of exercise. They will be good at that, and there is a strong reason that they will stay with that type of program. Material presented here is from the books of Children in Karate Training, Karate Martial Art and Sports Volume 7, and Dr. Strichevich Karate Instructors Program Manual, Volume 4. That is a manual which is used in giving Karate Instructors Program many years back. This presentation is just one single drop of the water in the ocean of the knowledge of karate. Us!